8,
You're watching
7,
Experience Comic Culture and Sales.
5,
Streaming live daily to
4,
Facebook, YouTube,
3,
Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome in. And yes, Mike White Robot, another live stream, and you are watching the Geek Chat with an old intro, but still, it's pretty cool. With me is Desmond, my co-host. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. You are watching us on The Experience, one of the only places you can get live comic sales and comic shows every day of the week. Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. Head to Facebook and give the Geek Chat a like and follow us. We post some really cool stuff. Good night, Gracie.
No, we just started. And I have to say, I am super cold reporting, live outside, the Hall of Doom, aka Florida's,
Stop. We don't want to alienate any of our new Florida friends.
That's true.
Yes.
But yeah, we have a pretty packed stacked show for you. So much news was released this week. So I think that we should get right into it.
All right.
We have
what do you want to
ton of stuff. Yes, an old George Burns bit. I'm very familiar with George Burns. I mean,
Same.
I think Rich and him went to the same school together.
Cool, we did. He was a really nice guy.
Smoking
cigars at an early age, I'll tell you. In middle school, he was smoking.
Yes. Yeah. So, alrighty then. So first and foremost, the two of us went to see Madam Web.
Oh, yay!
Madam Web. That's my little web. There was only psychic webs. So this is a spoiler. So we are going to hi Kenneth. Welcome in. So we're going to be talking about spoilers for this movie. So, but given the box office, most of you people probably won't be going to see this. So, just want to let you know. So you can mute us if you want, but please stay in the chat. Stay in the chat.
Phil. Hey, Paul.
Hi, everybody. So please stay in the chat at least, but you can mute us or something. And so we'll keep the Madam Web poster up and until we stop talking about it or the spoiler or something up.
We have one more image to put up too.
Yeah. So we have one more image to put up after this. So just be prepared that there's going to be spoilers. So we want to make sure because if some of you are waiting. So, but yeah, it was a very interesting Valentine's Day to sit, next to Rich and gobble up this movie. I don't know what it is with Sony properties and beginning their movies in a jungle or rainforest or some other tropical location in a remote location. I don't understand why that happens, but it seems like this one did it. Morbius did it. I'm sure Craven's gonna do it. So and I don't know why.
You never want to be around Dez, and that's why our friends really don't like going to the movies with us because we talk. I mean, we're not loud. We were yesterday because there were I think 7 people in the theater with us.
No.
Yeah. There were 7 people, and there was at least 7.
6.
No, there was at least 7 or 8.
There's 2 guys that were further down below us. Then there was another couple, and this guy took his girlfriend for Valentine's to see that, so he does not care about her. And then the super guy that was way down in the front, and I was like,
why would you be in the very front row? I don't know. But so he turns to me and he goes, didn't Morbius start in the jungle too? And I was like, it did.
No. Your first thought was, oh, I forgot that mess or something like that. And then you asked Coog was like, yes. So you're like, oh yeah, it did. So yeah. So okay. So this movie, and it is a movie Again, it is the longest Sony. It is the
in
longest.
association with Marvel film.
Yeah, so it's 2 hours long. And honestly, I didn't. Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. Overall, D plus movie, D plus, and the reason being is because there are kernels of a good movie in there. It's
100%.
it's just either the people that are writing these movies or producing these movies, or the people who are just behind the scenes of the movies are not fully vested in the stories that they're trying to tell.
Yeah.
It just really feels like they are trying very hard to fly off of Spider-Man's coattails with a lot of these projects. And it's like they give them what 20, 30, 40 million dollars and they say, okay, this is the budget to make these Spider-Man movies. Do the best you can, peace, deuces, go. And then people go out and they make these movies. And it just seems like the only people that have any kind of wherewithal about comic
Werewolf-all?
wherewithal is, I know it's a big word, you're not used to it.
No,
Is
it's not like you said werewolf.
no wherewithal. The awareness, that if they put a little more effort into this, it would actually be this could actually be a really good story.
I agree 100%. That it, and I even looked at him because afterwards we talk. That's another thing. We're in the theater talking. I agree. There was a good movie somewhere in there amongst all the WB, CW. At one point in the movie, I turned to Coog and I said, I feel like we're watching something on the CW.
Yeah.
And then the end fight was something from like Arrow. I mean, it wasn't.
That's what I mean.
It wasn't big budget CGI.
No, it wasn't. And not to say that the CGI wasn't bad. Some of it kind of was. I wasn't sure if some of it was practical effects or whatnot, because the whole ending scene takes place in a so there was a little bit of callbacks from the beginning of the movie that I thought were kind of interesting, because there was little things when she has visions, because you don't know how far away in the future she's seeing her visions. Most of them are within the span of like maybe 30 minutes to like 5 minutes. So she can kind of make a plan of what needs to happen. There was only one person in costume, and that was the evil guy, Ezekiel. I thought his costume was actually pretty good. I thought it was really nicely realized. The only problem was it was so muted that
you couldn't see it.
Yeah, you weren't really
couldn't
sure.
see the details.
No, you could. It was like this, like you could see a little bit of the webbing when you were up close, and he had this red outline that was like Spider-Man's, but you couldn't really differentiate him too much. But his movements, everything that he was doing was like Spider-Man. And I was like, okay. There were some cheeky moments in this movie. It takes place in 2003. And
I thought it was 7.
No, 2003. That was the thing about it. It took place in 2003, because they were saying by the time that this is supposed to, so she's best friends with Ben Parker, who you know is Uncle Ben, and his sister, is pregnant with Peter. And so there's all these hints as to who that baby is going to be. And she has her, clairvoyance, and she's like, when the whole name game thing, and she was, I thought she was gonna say Peter, but she didn't. They never name dropped the kid. They never, all that it's a beautiful, healthy boy, a handsome, healthy boy or whatever. And that's about it. And
well, no, they did make the reference. I thought this was kind of fun. They said one of the girls in bed with Madam Web says, not in bed like that. She's in a hospital bed.
Yeah.
And she says something to the fact of, he's going to be an uncle. All the fun, but none of the responsibilities. And that's when Cassandra says, oh no, there'll be great responsibility. It was that kind of like tongue in cheek, kind of like, with great power. And they even, in the movie, they even do a little reference to with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah. So because she's born, so they go to the jungle, they find this spider tribe, because she, you're not told in the moment why this pregnant woman. Yes, I'm sorry. That's my cat. She's supposed to get fed, and she got fed, and now she's just meowing because she doesn't know where anyone is in the house. So she literally goes in the house and it's like, "Where is everybody?" And I'm like, and you know where we're at. Like, so I don't know. So sorry about that. Her name is Sophie, and she's crazy. Anyway, so the woman is trying to track down this spider. This spider that has like their venom has medicinal healing properties. She finds the spider. Ezekiel turns on her, and then she gets saved by the spider people. And then she gets injected with the venom. She gives birth to Madam Web, and then we fast forward to like 2003, and then she's like a EMS driver, and in foster care, can't think of anybody, and then can't be with anybody and stuff like that. And it's just kind of this. I mean, I thought her acting was fine. I thought that she did a pretty good job with what she was given in the movie. I thought she was the best thing in the movie. I did not like the villain at all. I thought, I don't want to say he was miscast, but he just didn't seem menacing enough, and his voice kept coming off really like strangely.
Yeah, he even turned to me and he was like, "What's up with his voice?"
Like, I don't get it. Like, I didn't get it. It was just, I don't know. It's just, and then the girls. Oh my god, the other 3 girls.
So let's put that picture up.
Yes, please. We welcome your opinion. If you have anything, please let us know. I know some of you haven't seen it yet, or you're saving yourself for when it comes on streaming. It'll be rushed. But please, we would love to hear your opinion. But these are all of the characters that are in it, and who they are representing, and what they look like. So you only get to see them in costume a total of 3 times in the show. In the movie. I swear to God, it felt like a CW show.
It really
felt
did.
like a CW show. But yeah, you get to see them all in their respective stuff.
But let it be known that they don't have powers in the actual movie.
Yeah, none of them have powers except for Madam Web, and she only displays them at the end. By that I mean a physical manifestation of power. All her other powers are all linked to her ability to see the future. And you get to see glimpses of, so Ezekiel, the evil guy, has this vision of the 3 of them killing him. But that's when you get to see them in costume, is he has this dream about them assaulting him. And at the end, you get to see them in their powers, using their powers to fight crime and whatnot. But during the movie, there's no, it's basically a chase movie. It literally is a chase movie. For the first 30 minutes, you're getting a backstory about Madam Web. Then the girls are thrust into her possession, and then a tour de force of her trying to find out who she is, and a week-long trip to Peru as she's wanted by the police.
The movie has a lot of problems with their
and the taxi cab she stole
making sense. Yeah, so this is a movie you definitely want to suspend any kind of
disbelief,
law, anything about logic. Yeah, you definitely want to go into this movie and be like, I'm here to munch on popcorn and pretzels and candy with my squishy and just enjoy the movie, because if you think about it, your head will literally explode.
Yes, and no passport.
And
and she was wanted by the police, by the way.
Yes.
And we kept thinking to ourselves, okay, it's 2003, probably was, passport laws were a little bit different. Maybe it's a little easier.
And the New York City cops are pretty much useless in this movie if they're around. It goes from very police heavy to then never seeing a police person again.
Yeah, my God. And then what was the one thing? Oh, and then the girl is trying to use her phone, and then she takes it and throws it out the window. And I'm thinking to myself, that had better been a Nokia or a Samsung or a Razor or something, because if it's an iPhone, y'all.
So I want to talk about real quick. I'm kind of upset because I think that they did a real disservice to Julia Carpenter. I was really hoping, because we're getting Secret Wars in a couple years, that her character, much like the comics, would come out of it. And here they essentially said, nope, we are going to give you these 3 characters. They're not their final forms yet. The girls went from the characterization of the girls was all over the place in this movie. They went from hating each other to loving each other in the span of maybe 2 days.
Yeah. We had the studious girl, the unsure girl, and the rebellious girl. Like that's literally what they told these actresses. Hey, you're studious. Okay. You right over there, Blondie. You're reluctant girl. Okay, black girl, you're a rebel girl because you're black. And I was like, and that's what they did. That literally was their trope.
Yeah, the acting skills of the girls were less than yes,
all over the place.
CW worthy of acting.
I think I honestly believe that is in the whole scheme of Sony's Spider-Man adjacent universe. It's all by people who used to work at CW. I swear to you.
Maybe.
It's that level of production. It's that level of want for these these projects. That's what they want. As long as it's a CW or better, they're good with it. So I honestly believe Sony, with the success of Spider-Man, all the money they're getting from that, they literally were like, hey, all this other stuff, this is just gravy right now. And if one of this thing sticks, because they set it up for a sequel, given the ending of it.
That is correct. They did.
They set it up for a sequel. And I just do not know if they're going to get a sequel. Now, if Spider-Man shows up, because they set it up for Spider-Man to be there. They really do. Because at the time when he was born, they're going to kick forward to, however many years they're going to put that first Spider-Man movie in. I just don't know how this is going to set it up, because they literally set up Spider-Man and they set up the future of the Web Warriors, or whatever they're going to call them.
I called it Madam Web and her amazing friends.
Experience says, did you guys see Monarch Legacy of Monsters? I felt the same way about that. I saw the first 3 episodes, maybe 4, and I just tapped out. I want to watch more. Don't get me wrong. I want to watch more, but it just didn't stick.
Grab ya? Yeah.
It just didn't stick. So for Madam Web, a solid D+. There is something there, and I really hope that people can see past the craziness and see the movie. You really have to suspend your disbelief. The fact that an ambulance truck can jump through a building and land without crashing is just amazing.
Or a firework going off and doing a human-sized hole in the wall that is perfect. Like there's some stuff. So I'll give my final review of this.
that Acme hole.
Oh my God. So I would say, if you want to see it, wait for streaming. Mm-hmm. Watch it on streaming, definitely. I have no problem with the Sony movies at all. I don't, as long as the story and the origin makes sense to the characters, I'm okay. That's how I felt about Venom, and that's how I felt about Morbius. And that's kind of how I felt here. They still used a spider totem, which you have to remember, the web of the universe is about spider totems. Mm-hmm. Ezekiel was supposed to be the hunter. I kind of disappointed that never happened. But
he hunted them.
he did. I would say wait for streaming for sure. And I'm sad that again, these characters were put through this. I would have liked a much better origin story for especially Julia.
Yeah. But one thing that we're super excited about, at least I can't speak for you, my friend, is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
Whoa.
The trailer was released for this. And so we got our first look at Pyro.
The bromance.
What?
The bromance.
Yes.
We only get to see him at the end.
Yeah, we get to
I
see.
didn't know that was Pyro at first.
I
Same
didn't
actor,
either.
though.
Yeah, same actor. We got a maybe glimpse of Cassandra Nova from behind. We get what people are calling Dr. Doom. It's some guy in a metal mask with a gun. I don't think it's Dr. Doom.
It's not Dr. Doom.
And we also get Wolverine and Deadpool together. So
okay. So again, the movie's not coming out until July. So we are going to do some rapid fire what we believe is going to be in this movie. I thought this would be kind of fun because, as you know, Deadpool is and the TVA are going through in order to save the mutants. Probably, in my opinion, to save the mutants, the Fox mutants. That's why you see the Fox logo in the background. See the save the Fox mutants by bringing them to the MCU. You know, from being, because that timeline was pruned. So I believe, and you can quote me on this, we will be seeing cameos from all of the major X-Men. Halle Berry is going to be in it. James Marsden's going to be in it. I think that Kelsey Grammer's going to be in it, and not just the original X-Men, Bryan Singer's X-Men, the original ones. I'm talking the ones from the next generation. James McAvoy, and if they can do it, which I hope they can, we're going to see, God, I can't remember her name, Katniss Everdeen. What's her name? JD, are you there? Voice of God. What's her name? Jennifer Lawrence. See? She popped in my head. See? Thank you.
You know who should get some due? Darwin.
Yeah, and Rebecca remains. See, if they bring back Darwin, that actor who played Darwin,
because he never should have died. His whole power is not dying, and he died.
Stand up and start cheering in the auditorium. I'd be like, yes, justice for my man Darwin. Seriously though, they're gonna bring them all. Franzberger, all of them.
Franzberger,
the guy who played Magneto.
Fassbender,
whatever. We're gonna get old Charles, new Charles. All of them are gonna be in it. Watch. I'm telling you, Deadpool, because this is the last one he's doing. Mark my words. We are going to get an Avengers level, moment in which all the X-Men from Days of Future Past, all of them are going to be standing together to face off against Cassandra Nova. Mark my words, it's going to happen. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman have the pull to bring all of these people together. Watch it. It's going to happen.
Well, let's hope.
No, seriously, it's going to happen. And then this is going to, make all the fanboys and girls and everyone in between super happy. And then they're going to forgive Marvel. And then it's going to go back into the toilet again. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, no, because next up they just announced the Fantastic Four, which now everyone online is saying that's supposed to save the Marvel universe.
Oh my Lord. Fantastic Four. I think it's interesting that they chose to spend all their money on Pedro Pascal.
We said that in the car last night driving home. We're like,
we did.
They really did spend their money on Pedro, who, in my opinion, great actor. But for me personally, I don't see him as Reed Richards at all.
I don't either. I'm skeptical. I think that he could do it. I just never envisioned him playing that part. America's Sexy Daddy. Yeah. I mean, everyone loves him for that. And then Vanessa Kirby and Joseph Quinn. I guess Joseph Quinn was on Stranger Things, so he's got a fan base. I can't remember what Vanessa Kirby has done.
Great voice. Do you know?
All I know is that age discrepancy, I think, is a little very interesting. Although Reed has always been a little bit older than Sue.
I would say about 10 years, maybe. I
always thought, honestly, to tell you the God's honest truth, I always thought Sue was older. Like, I thought Sue was the same age as Reed, and they just kind of, as the comic progressed, they de-aged her to kind of make her more of a sex pot. But I thought that she was actually older, like roughly maybe 4 or 5 years younger than Reed. but they seem to want to make her younger and younger. So I don't know.
And we're also getting Herbie.
I don't know why, but hey, I think I know why actually.
Hobbs and
Shaw. Last two Missions Impossible, and then Napoleon. Okay, I know that she was in Napoleon. I never saw the last two Mission Impossibles. That franchise is just, I don't know. And never saw Hobbs and Shaw's. Again, an adjacent movie to the Fast and Furious franchise. I'm good. But the one thing that really stands out that's fantastic for me is Oben Moss Backrich. I think his voice for Ben Grimm is going to be fantastic. He has that. If you've ever watched The Bear, he has that sarcastic, funny delivery. That sort of angry urbanite New York, Chicago kind of gruffness to his voice that I think is going to translate well on film. And I think that he's able to do the comedic timing with Joseph Quinn's Johnny Storm. I think if they're able to really play that up, I think it's going to be great. I am much more interested in the villain. Who they're going to fight, because if all early talks are to be believed, it's going to be Doctor Doom, and Doctor Doom is going to take over the Kang role in all the rest of these things. So I think you might get the Kang dynasty, and so how I believe it's going to happen. Again, this is all hearsay, or this is all speculation on my part. I think they're going to launch into Fantastic Four, create Doom as the big bad, have Doom and Kang face off in the Kang dynasty, and then Kang lose, and then you have Doctor Doom moving into the final phase. I think that seems a lot more logical. It seems a lot more efficient to use their time. Now, will Marvel see it that way? Probably not, because they want to make things as complicated as possible. So that's just how they do. They want to spend as much money and make it as much complicated as possible. Oh, so Experience says, see, from what I'm hearing, the big bad from Fantastic Four is Galactus. They may intro Doom in this movie, but he's not supposed to be the villain. I think that'd be a big mistake for them to go to Galactus instead of Doom at this juncture. And I'll tell you why. Because they haven't really teased Galactus enough to make him be such a threat. And I think it would be a loss to have him be the villain, such a grand villain for the introduction of this team. I think Doctor Doom is small enough to be able to grow with the Fantastic Four instead of having them deal with such a giant villain, a giant-sized villain.
Hey, as long as they make him human and not a giant fart cloud, I don't care.
Well, that's the thing. I think Marvel is definitely going to be a lot more closer to the source material. I really hope.
Definitely, I hope so
as well. So,
but if we get Galactus, that means we get Silver Surfer again.
See, but that's the thing. Like,
are they going to revisit that well? But I mean, both movies. Also, the one that you and I. So we have been doing this long enough. We saw the Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan and
no Herbie.
No.
No. Herbie's going to be there.
Yeah, Herbie will be in the movie.
Yeah, Herbie's going to be there.
We actually saw that, and we went through all the stages of grief on our way home that night.
Oh,
remember that horrible night?
That horrible Fantastic Four movie?
Yes.
Oh, I've never wanted to walk out of a movie so bad in my life.
So it's going to be weird, though, seeing almost Marvel being like, hey, this is how it was supposed to be done. Yep. I'll be very happy if that is how they do it.
Yeah.
But it is time for our first commercial break. Stay tuned, because we have more news and some new number ones for the week.
See ya.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Live from New York. What? Oh, sorry. Live from Cleveland? It's Friday night? It's Friday Night Live! With Nancy McCann. And Ricky. and sometimes Carlos. And featuring boxes and boxes of rare comics. Unique collectibles. Lots of smiles and conversations with new friends. Friday Night Live with Comics Unlimited. Friday night from 9 to 11 on The Experience.
Symphonic verses, Nocturne's romance. A song of romanticized darkness, dreaming dead by sleep.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat, not the comic book beardies anymore, but the Geek Chat, and I am Rich.
And I'm Desmond.
And you're watching us on The Experience. I just want to tell you that again, head to comicshoppingexperience.com, sign up on the mailing list, and see what's on, because there is live shows every day of the week. And their Thursday lineup added one today where Jam Comics joined the Experience, 8 a.m. 11 a.m. on the West Coast. You've got the Dan Wickline show. Hopefully he'll be back next week. We're sending him the best wishes to get better.
Yes.
What's in the box with Miss Jen? She had collections today. They were nice runs and some half-off trades. She's on at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. You've got the Geek Chat on with you now. And then Sketch Up with Mog and Mel follows us at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. And tonight, they have Jail Draco and Lindsay G. Lagsalot with their new Kickstarter, The Pack, and they'll be giving away some giveaways of the pack as well. So join Mog and Mel after us.
Yes, please. Also, looks like we've been having a lot of conversation in our chat, so let's get back to that. Mike White Robot says, I like how you give Disney/Marvel movie execs the benefit of the doubt as being capable of rational thought. That's really cute. Hey,
Oh no, we don't.
I kind of do. Like, I'm like, you know what?
They give no issues about it. They just see the dollar signs.
No, I don't.
We got Madam Web. Come on now.
No. That's Sony. That's Sony. I'm talking about like the Marvel folks, you know. And I like to think, you know, hope springs eternal, even if it's a small spring.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just, like I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Daniel Aslan says they'll make Galactus a human celestial. No, please don't do that. Please don't do that, because then it'll be another member of One Direction or one of the NSYNC people, and I don't need all that. You know, don't do that. Make him a ginormous pink, you know, man. You know, or ginormous purple man. Please do. Lastly, Daniel Ashton says, yeah, spec away, but track record does not indicate any true fanboy love aside from Deadpool, in my humble opinion as well. Yeah, but I think the driving force behind Deadpool though is because Ryan Reynolds, I think, really likes the Deadpool character.
Yeah.
And he as a creative type, I think, just really wants to do right by the fans. And I think that's just the difference between, actor involvement in a project versus corporate involvement, because hey, him and Hugh Jackman are great friends. He brought him into it. Granted, they're both going to get a lot of money from this. Let's not cut it. They're going to get paid.
I wonder about that back end deal.
Woo,
I would love to be in the room.
Hell yeah, they're going to get paid. But
speaking of Wolverine,
well, at least I'm hopeful.
Okay, so that will bring us to today. The trailer for X-Men 97 dropped, and wow, all day I was humming the song. We can't do it because of copyrights, but all day I was just humming that damn song. And there it is, our first look at Pregnant Jean. They're playing basketball from the old Jim Lee, Chris Claremont book, including baseball. Jubilee with a 7 on. I mean, Rogue. They took the looks directly from the comics. Got to give them credit for that.
Looks good. That was sad that Charles died. I was like, wow. I think he'll be back though. Because he died, and then what is it? The Shi'ar brought him back, and he could walk and all that stuff like that. So I think Charles is going to be back probably a little bit later on in the series, but Charles will be back. Mark my words. And
I loved Magneto in his purple outfit at the trial that he's going to be going to.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, this is mine."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, damn."
And then Cyclops, "To me, my X-Men." I'm like, okay, now you want to talk about fan writing. I think that this X-Men 97 is going to be for anyone and everyone who watched that. They are going to bring it hard. I truly believe that, and I am so here for it.
If Jean doesn't go, oh!
And Rogue, and Storm,
then I'm gonna be mad. Like, Jean has got to pass out or exhaust herself or something. So I
love how she's the referee too.
I need to, because she's pregnant. They're like, she can't do anything. She's probably the most powerful mutant over there. Does Juggernaut say I'm Juggernaut? Yeah, no, he does not. That's strictly a Fox thing. Okay, so there's been a couple of folks. What do you think about the animation? I looked at their lips; they're not big, so I didn't see that. What do you think of the animation?
So I remember watching the original when they switched animation in the last season.
Yeah.
And in the little preview, you saw the animation. I think this looks a lot stronger than how it left off. But how do
you compare it to, like, What If?
It's actual animation.
You think? Yeah.
I actually am always going to be for this kind of animation that looks like the cartoon.
I have to agree. I know some people were saying that it looks a little bit too. It's like they're trying to have the old look, because I'm gonna tell you one thing: the X-Men animation, in some spots, the classic one from the 90s, that ish was rough. Mm-hmm. Like, it was rough, but it was still serviceable, and it moved the story forward, and it was good enough, and I was totally there for it. This looks, they finally have the technology to step it up a bit. That scene where Gambit flew around Wolverine's shoulder as he
then he charged his claws.
Like, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
The close-up of Jubilee popping that gum. I was like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Day one, I will be watching it. We will be reviewing it. It's going to be amazing. I just know it is. I'm here for it.
I agree. I'm very excited for this.
Do you think that they are? Do you think that Marvel's doing this as a test to see which X-Men or how they're going to do the X-Men when they come into the MCU?
Maybe,
because here's the thing. Suit technology, costume technology has come a long way, and I think the reason why we have not gotten the mutants in a while or at all, is because the executives, of DC, of Disney and Marvel don't know what to do with the X-Men. I think they don't know what to do with them, and so this was the safest way for them to start introducing them back into the general conscious of moviegoers and people by hitting this
So
nostalgia hard.
by
And
you saying that, it actually brings up one point about the old Marvel animation that I really appreciated. Before they set their animation on the MCU, they used to do different cartoons introducing characters. So
Yeah.
Ms. Marvel was actually in the cartoons long before her Disney Plus debut.
Yeah.
They introduced in the Avengers that was canceled right before.
Earth's Mightiest. Yeah.
Nope. Was it? Yeah, it was Earth's Mightiest.
Yeah,
They were
that was the one that
introducing
I
the
loved.
Skrulls.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And they introduced a lot of people. So I think it's great when Marvel does this. They'll introduce someone through their cartoons so that it goes two ways. They're not stupid. They know adults are watching these cartoons.
Yeah.
So not only is it introducing them to adults who are going to buy their comics, go to their movies, watch their TV shows, it's also introducing them to children to get them used to these new. Ghost Spider and Miles has been in the Spider-Man. It's for little kids. Little kids are being introduced to them.
Mhm.
So yes, I think 100% that yes, the Marvel Rising cartoons again, they introduced they introduced all these characters so that when they do make a big screen or small screen debut, people know who they are and they have name recognition. So you might be onto something by them launching this so that people are familiar, a new generation especially, that now that Disney Plus has all the old X-Men cartoons, can come in and watch this as well. And we're getting introduced to Sunspot. So I'm really happy that they're trying to up his game. So
Mike White Robot says, they're not stupid. LOL. Pure gold. You guys are the kindest people on the internet. In real life, adorable.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with I watch enough cartoons that I understand their marketing plan. They're not stupid when it comes to wanting to make money.
Yeah.
That is something executives definitely want. They want that money.
Yeah.
And when we had the store open on Castro, we had those small little digest books that were reprinted from the cartoons, and kids would buy them. And as the kids got older, we would actually see them going from the child's books to the young readers' books. I mean, we were open for over 10 years, so I watched a lot of kids grow up. I don't know. I'm excited for X-Men 97. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and just as everything old is new again.
Yes.
DC and Marvel are they're reprinting a whole bunch of new omnibuses of the what is it? Amalgam
universe, and then the DC versus Marvel.
Wow.
But interesting, I was reading in some of the retailer things, it looks like DC is taking the charge on this, which is very interesting in the fact that the only reason we got Avengers versus Justice League, whatever it was called, was because of George Perez's death. They worked together, they reprinted it, they sold it through, I want to say, Heroes Initiative. Retailers would love that back in print. That's an evergreen book. If you love any kind of DC or Marvel, that book is a must read.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I'm looking forward to the Amalgam stuff. I really am.
That's the one that I'm looking forward to. And I don't usually buy compendiums or omnibuses.
The omnibuses.
I think I'm gonna have to buy that. I really enjoyed all of those stories.
Yeah. So it's funny. I used to get them for $1 when we would go to the different conventions. You find them in the back issue bin. Yep. And then because they haven't been reprinted in so long, those suckers cost money now.
They really do.
Like some of them are going up. The Dark Claw stuff is going up.
I think it was the Dark Claw one, the Spider Boy one.
Oh, Spider Boy! People are looking forward to that.
Yeah, is worth some money too. So, I mean, if you're looking for it, this is the place. This is where you're gonna get it. And I really think that I'm going to pick that up. When I heard that news, I was like, hell yeah,
yeah.
So
we got one more thing I want to show you guys. Did you see the Joker?
Yes.
Pictures.
Yes, and I don't know what I think of them. I don't know what I think of them.
So we've got Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And then the Joker. I still have not seen the first one. So
the reason why I'm not so sure about this is
this picture.
They're showing all the beautiful moments between the two of them.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be in the, in the adjacent, the Elseworld.
The Elseworld.
She's gonna kill him or he's gonna kill her. So
really?
Yeah, that's what I believe. They're showing you all these romantic pictures because if they're gonna be true to the source material, he has to try to kill her and they have to have some kind of a falling out or something's going to have to happen. So one of them's going to have to die or something because I think the marketing, they're trying to show this loving couple because most people don't know that is actually a very toxic and tragic relationship between the two of them. So I expect there to be a lot of very, very emotionally wrought scenes between the two of them of him doing some really grotesque and nasty stuff to her and vice versa. So
hey, we're gonna review it.
Yeah, so just hold your just all you folks know that people are like, oh, it's the best relationship in comics and blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, you obviously are not. You obviously have only seen the Batman Adventures of Batman stuff or that because it is not.
Yeah,
it is not.
So let's get to our first comic.
Our first comic is a comic that I've never read. I never read the original. I had to look up the character because I was like, what's going on with this?
So Cable is in Dutch over at Image Comics.
There she is.
Oh, look at the kitty.
This is Sophie. She's making all the noise. All right, look, that's Sophie.
Oh, Daniel says, I dozed off with the first one. I have zero interest in the Joker Harley ship, not Harley herself. Enjoy, not for me. Yeah. I kind of have. So before we get into Dutch, I also I am not a musical fan. I don't like musicals at all. This movie's gonna be rough for me to sit through. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. The best relationship in comics is Harley and Ivy. Yeah. That's really cool.
So Dutch, number 1, The Enemies Among Us. Creator is Chap Yap. The script is Joe Casey, who Dez has met multiple times.
Very nice guy. All the Men of Action guys are amazing at cons.
The art was Simon Gain. Colors Francisco Segala. The color assists Gloria Martinelli. And the letters are done by Russ Wooten. I knew nothing about this character. The introduction here was Cable meets a redhead in an old CIA facility. And then he goes to bed and gets attacked by robots and he falls out a window. The end. And I
think one of the problems is we don't know the source material.
Yeah, I agree.
I think this is one of the ones that if you were a fan of Youngblood and the stuff that came out of that studio, you would have a place in your heart for this character, possibly. And I didn't. It read like a cable series, like the mutant Cable, and I'm not surprised because Joe Casey
wrote him for a very long time.
So this just seems like Cable Redux And not to say that's good or bad, it's just it seemed very derivative of other stuff that he's already done. And I was just kind of like, the art was really fun in some places, but overall, it failed to inspire.
Yeah. So again, going into this, not knowing anything about this character, I think Casey tried to give us a little backstory in the dialogue, which meant a lot more dialogue and less of the story progressing. I mean, it took how many pages to learn something bad is coming? Like, we don't learn anything about what happened to him in Utah. We just know something happened. Something happened to me in Utah. I came here to see you, even though I haven't seen you in 20 years. You used to be a superhero. Now you're old and crusty, and
you're part of the machine.
You're part of the machine. Yeah, the dialogue was way off. It did nothing as a number one to introduce the reader to this world and to make me care about a number two. I mean, it's his comic. He's going to survive the fall. It's just as bad as when Spider-Woman was falling out a window. It reminded me of how bad that trope is for characters like this.
Yeah.
And I know I've read enough Joe Casey to know you know better. So Dutch for me is I really don't care about the number two.
Yeah.
So it's about a guy that prefers to split the bill on a date. Just as bad. Just as bad, my friend. But this next book, on the other hand, I loved this book. Loved. You did not. I see it in your face. I loved this book. I'm putting this on my full list.
Because you are a villain.
I am.
And you love when villains do villainous things.
I do. I do.
Yeah.
So the next book up is also from Image. Look at this, 2 Image books in a row. It is called The Infernals. Chapter 1 is Bethlehem. The writers are Noah Gardner and Ryan Parrott. The artist is John J. Pearson with Lola Benato. The letterer was Hassan Atzmain Elhou. I apologize to you. The logo designer was Phonographics, and there's a bunch of covers. I really enjoyed this. It is about the son of Satan.
Not that son of Satan.
What?
Not that son of Satan.
Oh, no. Dying from cancer. And he's pissed off at his dad because his dad basically is letting him die of cancer.
Yeah.
And his family, he has 2 sons and a daughter. They're all at different stages of their life. They're all not good people. And it is about him trying to get his house in order when he dies, and who is going to take over his empire, because they are a huge crime syndicate.
So that's what I liked about it. Just to cut you off, that's what I liked about it. The change in the apocalypse. Everyone is so familiar with the biblical stories of how the apocalypse is going to happen. But the catch and the change with this story is that the apocalypse would happen more slowly and more systematically in order to tear down humanity through crime, through prostitution, through drugs, through all this other stuff.
Through the church. That's another funny thing.
Yeah, and through the church. So that's, in that aspect, I thought, that's a really good hook. And now we're seeing that the actual Antichrist is human, and he is falling or ailing to human disease. And so he believes that he should be above this. Why would this happen to me? I'm the goddamn Antichrist. Why is this happening to me? And why do I have these 3 children who are complete and utter, like, ridiculous? and how am I supposed to continue the apocalypse if I have these 3 kids who aren't worth a damn? See, that in itself was the hook that I was like, oh, okay, that's a very interesting way to look at something. However, the artwork was not for me, though.
Oh, so I loved it. Mm-hmm. I thought the artwork was beautiful, especially when we get to the end and we see what the angel looks like.
Well, because I think that's supposed to be either a new apostle or that's Jesus himself. Yeah. And we want to see what Jesus is going to be doing versus this guy.
Right. Succession. I don't know. I never saw Succession.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be reading the number 2. The art was very serviceable for me. I thought it fit in a lot of places. The darkness of it fit.
Lots of, and it, like the color schemes, lots of reds, lots of
black,
like black, and
then it is
the goat head. Like, it was so funny seeing like the goat head, talking to him, and hanging out, and he's all like, I really wanted you to succeed me, and he's like, I can't. And it's like these old friends, because he's been like a devil advisor with like a goat head and stuff. So it's like totally like sacrilegious, and you're just like, okay,
The introduction to Baphomet was quite the
and what is it, the first one, how people keep falling
out of your building, off your building. Yeah, I know. It was funny. It was a good hook. Unlike Dutch, this actually presented the characters, the story, and left you with a hook to want more. And I think they did a great number 1.
Yeah, you knew exactly what was happening. Like, you knew exactly what was happening. Every beat served to move the story forward. And honestly, I think this would be would be really in good contention to become a TV series. Picked up by one of the streaming services, because if you're going to deal with satanic type stuff, you're going to need to have that on like a streaming service or something like that. And I think this one, I believe, is kind of unique enough that if they were to do it right, could have a pretty good following. Like, it's not for me because the subject matter, I just was like, okay, and the art was very somewhat visceral in certain points. It wasn't like guts and blood and everything like that. It was just the starkness of the reds and the blacks and everything. It made it really kind of jarring, but that's what they're going for, and it was quite a contrast when you open up the last page and you see the angels
and the bright white
and the bright whites everywhere. It's quite a contrast. So I don't know, Paul might like this book, but this is one of the ones that I'm thinking, okay, maybe we could see this as a TV show or something. So, but yeah, you know what time it is, my friends. It's almost 6:00. So we got to take our last break, and when we come back, we got a couple more comics for you. So stay tuned.
Comic Collectibles is a pretty straightforward show. You got Rex here, he sells the comics, and you got Rockin' Robbie, he knows about the comics. And finally, John, well, no one really knows what John does. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's a great guy, but he just keeps showing up. Come to think of it, I don't even really know how he gets in here. Anyway, awesome comics, rare books, rarer signatures, slabbed books, and amazing cover sketches by Ken Hazer and others. Simple formula, you want the comics, you buy the comics. To sum up, Rex sells the comics, Robbie knows the comics, and John, who might possibly be a ghost. I mean, seriously, has anyone ever seen him show up or leave? Comic Collectibles with Rex and John, Mondays from 6 to 8 Eastern on The Experience. Comic Culture and Sales.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You are watching the Geek Chat on The Experience. I'm Rich.
I'm Des.
And be sure to stay tuned again at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. We have Sketch Up with Mog and Mel. They will have some special guests promoting their new Kickstarter. Head to comicshoppingexperience.com, sign up on the mailing list, and check out all the great shows. I have started watching... Miss Jen does a review. I think it's on Tuesdays or Wednesdays of new books, along with Kyle and another gentleman I can't remember. There's some really good stuff on The Experience. Be sure to check it out. So the next book we're going to review, Des is actually going to give us a quick little review because since we dropped Diamond Comics, I don't get Boom Books anymore. And it wasn't until I went searching for this to read and I was like, oh, damn, I forgot I don't have Boom Books. Yes, it's Minute to Skim It, Tuesday at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. She gives you the heads up on what books to buy in the shop, and we give you our heads up on what books to stay away from and what books we like. So how was The Displaced?
All right, first and foremost, it was written by Ed Ryson, illustrated by Luca Castellan Guidia, colored by D. Chenef, lettered by Hassan Otsaman El Hayo.
And again, I just want to say the letter's name deserves to be on that cover because if it wasn't for that letter, we'd have no words to read. And I'm really pushing for letters to be put on the cover.
Yes. So all I can say about this book is prepared to have it show up on Apple TV or Netflix or something like that. This book read like a treatment for a TV series. Basically, you're in Canada and there's an earthquake, a hole opens up, and the whole city in Canada is swallowed up. And only the people that were from the city or around the certain area of the city seems to continuously remember that it existed. And there's this old man who knows something is going on, but he hasn't spilled the beans yet. And so you have these 5 people on the cover. The old man is in the upper right-hand corner. And you have the other 4 people who have a family that have been displaced by this, and they're not sure where they went, and it's like they're just like they're like, how can no one, like, it seems like no one misses them or no one really cares or no one, because they're showing feeds of people who don't believe that it was actually there or anything. And so no one's taking it seriously. And the old man says it's because it never existed. And so there's this thing, other supernatural, other natural thing that's happening that is displacing these cities. I'm assuming we only had the one, and because these 4 people are on the cover, they're going to be the ones that need to get to the bottom of why this happened. Again, it read like a treatment for a TV series. And I do believe that a lot of these, a lot of these stories are just that, treatments for TV series.
You're going to read the number 2?
That's the thing, though. They have done books like this, or they have done TV series and books and other comics that are based on the same kind of premise. It was there once, now it's gone. What happened? That's a very universal premise that's been done for a long time. It just depends on what the payoff is, because we're presented with the hook. And I'm not sure this hook is different enough that it's going to pull people in. I don't think the characters that they presented are strong enough for that. Unlike the last book that we looked at, the Infernals, where you have, the Antichrist, you have his children, it's more grandiose, heaven versus hell, a crime syndicate, double crossing, stuff like that. That is more like, more, I don't know, maybe like entertaining or something, or more like to bring people in. While this one was so much of a slow burn that you don't really know. So for in that way, I'm not really sure if it's going to pull enough people in. I don't know if it pulled me in. That's the weird thing about it, is I don't know. I really don't know if I'm going to pick it up, because I might, just to see where it goes, but it's almost, think of it like Stephen King's The Dome, where the people were encased in the dome and they didn't know how to see them or get to them, anything like that. It's almost like that premise, but they're gone. That's the premise. It's like, how am I going to find these people? How can I talk to these people? What's going on? So it's all been done in different ways. It's just, is this enough to pull us in? Daniel Aslin says, thought like most modern quote unquote art, lettering is done via computer insert on the whole. Don't know if that's the case here. No, it happens more and more, however. Yeah.
And I agree, but they're still doing a job. Yeah. And their name, as much as it's important that comic books are a visual medium, we still have to read them. And there's someone doing that work that still should get credit.
Yeah. And then it's like, also, a lot of the times, the people might not know this, but it's the letterer who adds the boxes for the text. So if you ever see, a word box that has like a lot of expression or color and stuff like that, usually it's a letterer that's doing that as well. I taught myself how to letter comics, when I was younger. So it's very fun, actually. It's weird. It's very cathartic to sit there and just kind of pencil something on a computer. My friend Joe, who's in the chat, he has fantastic penmanship, and I always thought that he could be a fantastic letterer. Daniel also says, I think series/film pitches are bad ideas, and
I think that's supposed to be
okay, and many more goals as well as on the whole.
Yeah,
though destroys and many more. And then he says, props to Mike, the lettering input intern. LOL, kid, sort of. Yeah. Thanks, kid. Well, actually, VC's like Joe Kuramanga and stuff like them. VC actually, they create their own fonts too. So I actually met them at a couple of cons and stuff, and they're actually a pretty big business who and they employ all of their letterers. So just FYI. So next for the displaced, I don't know.
Okay. Was there a last page hook?
No,
was
the
anything?
last. That's the name of a company. Okay.
Yeah. I get it. Okay. Distillery was the yes. Yeah. Okay.
And I think bad idea. I think was saying. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Was there an end page? No, just the end page was the old man saying they never existed, and that was the end page. You're just kind of like,
you don't care about that. Okay. Next up.
We're actually not doing that one. Sorry, we're
gonna go with the Sinister Sons.
Sorry.
There we go. Yeah. So we have the son of General Zod and the son of Sinestro.
Well, we're not sure if he's the son of Sinestro. He wants to be the son of Sinestro, and he says that he's the son. Yes, he believes that he is the son of Sinestro, but he might not be, and he's going to find his dad to see if that's true or not. Yeah, this book, it's like the opposite of Super Sons in the most literal sense. I hate I hate Zod's kid more than I hate Sin Sun. But yeah, if you didn't read Kneel Before Zod, that's where we were introduced to Zod's kid, who
we reviewed the number one about a month ago, maybe.
Yeah, about a month ago, yeah. Who was ceremoniously expelled from New Krypton? No, New Kandor, sorry. That's where General Zod is building the new home of his Kryptonians. So, and of course he's the sons of a villain, and he was like, I deserve to be, at your feet, father, and you're keeping secrets from me, and blah blah blah. So kicked him out, and so he lands on this planet and immediately tries to take over the crime syndicate. And he lands on the planet, and his starship goes and beats up all the crime families and is like, I'm your leader now. And then the Sinestro son takes his ship and flies off because he's going to see his family. He wants to see his dad. And that's how they meet each other. So they're both really, really horrible, horrible kids. Like just the most brattiest kids ever. So I don't know how they're going to sell this, but
let's get this out of the way. Peter J. Tomasi did the story and the words. David LaFluente is the artist. Tamara Bonvillain was the colorist. Rob Lee did the lettering. And there was a bunch of variant covers to it as well. I got to read the PDF before we ordered. And I, just like Daniel, I passed on this. I was like,
no regrets.
No regrets. I read it again. I let me say this.
No regrets.
I skimmed it again so that we could go over this on today's show. And reading it the second time did not make it get better. Like it really didn't. I loved Super Sons. Des and I read the hell out of that, and we reviewed it a lot on some of the old past shows. The thing about Super Sons was you had Damian, which no one likes, but certain writers, and Peter J. Tomasi is one of those writers.
Yep.
He made you actually like this annoying snot of a kid. And the teaming that they had when John was a kid, before John was aged up, the relationship between the two, the wide-eyed, naive John with the I was raised by the demon and my dad's Batman. Like the ego and cruelness of Damian worked 100%. You don't like either of these characters in this book. Why should I care about this book? Neither one of them are likable at all.
Well, Sin Sun kind of is, because he's kind of like Oliver Twist in this thing, because he has like a band of street orphans on this criminal planet that he is working with, and he's running his gambit and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, like any kind of good cred that he lost, because he basically jumped ship the minute he was able to get off the planet and left his friends behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
And his dog with the phallic ears.
Yeah, and I like David LaFuente's art. I thought his art was very strong. I know you didn't like his art. I thought his art was very strong in here. They looked like young adults, like kids.
I'll give you that, yes.
And I just really liked his depiction of them. I think he's a great artist when he's doing stuff like this. I really thought the artwork was really good. However, I do not think the artwork is enough to keep me interested in this book. I might pick it up at like a half off book
trade.
Yeah, half off trade when I'm at like a comic book show or something like that. I might pick it up then, for the trade, I might pick it up, but getting individual issues, no. I'm sorry. Like this was not a fun read for me. Like there was nothing in the book that made it fun for me, and I just don't feel like going on this journey of discovery with these bratty ass kids. I just don't want to do that. So I'm not enough time in the day. So
well,
yeah,
we are going to move on to Marvel, and the 90s are back, people.
Oh, so the best thing about that book right here is this variant cover that I got from Tradmore.
Tradmore.
I got the Tradmore variant cover, which I thought was the only thing that saved this book for me. Was that
I got
cover.
the Luciano Vecchio cover, which is one of the 97 covers. They're doing Marvel Comics 97, so a lot of the variants are a hark back to that time. And I love Luciano Vecchio again.
This was a hard read for me.
This was a hard read for you, huh?
This is a very hard read. Number one, I never liked this character. I was not a New Warriors fan. I thought that they were just a second tier Teen Titans. I never got the appeal of them. I know some people did and they really enjoyed them, but I never got the appeal. And so for this one, I thought, okay, let's try, and see what's going on with Night Thrasher to see if they can take this character into a new place, a new era, a new something. And they didn't.
Okay, let's get this out of the way. Night Thrasher #1, Remix Part 1, Don't Call It a Comeback.
Again, such a terrible,
Don't call it a comeback. Jay Holtham was the writer. Nelson Daniel did the art. Matt Milla was the color artist. And VC's Travis Lanham did the lettering. And the cover there that you see on your screen is by Alan Kwa.
Yeah, even the jokes are from the 90s. You're not lying, my friend.
So I, as opposed to Desmond, I was a New Warriors fan. I loved the team. I have a lot of his solo issues. I love Silhouette. I've always loved Silhouette because I love the Dark Force in the fact that so many people can access the Dark Force. It was ridiculous. And spoiler, JD, do you want to put the little spoiler up? We're going to give you a little spoiler. Yes, it was, Mike. Don't call it a comeback. So the OG, the new villain OG, is actually Rage, who was an Avenger at one time and is in.
Is he still 13?
That's the funny thing. I don't think he's 13 anymore.
He's still 13.
So it was Civil War that was born because the New Warriors tried to take down Nitro.
Yeah.
In Stanford.
Down in Stanford.
And they blew up everything. So Night Thrasher was killed in that explosion. And then brought back in, I want to say, Contest of Champions or something that happened. Something silly.
They mentioned that in the book.
They do a good job of explaining where he's been.
They do. They
do. And they try to progress the story by having him come back and then shut down the building and everything that his family had started. So this is just like Madam Web to me. Reading this book, the character goes from one direction, something happens, and now he's like, well, I'm going to stick around. I'm still going to shut everything. I'm going to stick around. And then the whole thing with Silhouette, I don't know if this writer was a fan of the old series. I wonder if he read any of the old Night Thrasher books. For me, this was not the voice. I don't think this was the voice of him. Dwayne was always very street smart and very about his friends, even in the worst of times of the New Warriors. And I feel like they nailed Silhouette. And I thought the Silhouette backup story was very strong.
What was it titled?
Oh, wait.
Gone Till November. And I was like, really? We're getting all the references in.
Yep,
huh?
Gone Till November. I didn't even see that. I just saw it's a bonus track.
I was
a bonus track. So my biggest issue for this book was the art. The characters basically have the same facial structures. And I thought it was a very dark book. Like, dark as in the inking and the coloring. And
not because they're black people?
No. All the panels, they used a lot of purples and blacks.
I did not like the artwork at all. It was not good. Like, I don't want to call anyone out, but I was not a fan.
I as well. Why am I canceled?
Because of all the dark colors.
I was not a fan.
Oh, and there's a scene. Okay, there was a scene where Silhouette gets mad and her back starts to do something, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Okay,
and
so that's the dark force.
And I was like, "Okay," I literally had to go back. Oh, that's her dark force powers. See, I couldn't. The artwork was not good.
So I just want to say, Mr. Experience, I've been canceled twice already, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
So
yes,
I have been canceled before. I do not believe that I'm canceled. I gotta say, I was very, very, very disappointed. I'm still gonna read that. I'm gonna read this. It's gonna be a mini series. I'm gonna read it despite the bad art because I gotta know what happens.
You're
with
a fan.
Raid.
No, I get it. You're a fan.
I am a fan. I am a
happens.
90s fan. I gotta read it. So for me,
I will never fault you for reading what you love or like. I wouldn't say love, but that's probably strong.
Oh God, yeah, I didn't love this book, but I'm interested in the characters. I just wish it had a different artist. Oh God.
Well, a book that really surprised me was
our last book,
Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And I got this cover. So this cover was really cool.
Who's it by?
I don't know.
You don't know. It's okay.
It's by no, that's not it. Luciano Vecchio. Yes.
I love him.
I say it was by him.
So the writer of this was Steve Orlando, who was writing
or Ricky Yagawa
was writing the Scarlet Witch book before it ended to be renamed because this is their 60th anniversary. The artist was Lorenzo Tametta. The color artist was Frank William. The letterer was VC's Ariana Maher, which we have a new one. And the cover artist right there is Russell Dodderman. And then the recap art inside was also Luciano Vecchio. So I'm glad that he gets a little interior work because he is doing the Storm.
Okay, it's Rose Beach. Okay.
That's who you have.
Cover. Okay, thank you for looking it up.
Yeah. So
I want to give proper credit.
All in all, this is just kind of a continuation of Steve Orlando's previous Scarlet Witch book with her and Darcy running the magic shop. There's a door. If you have a problem, you go through the door, you end up there, and she helps you out. And in this, it references what has happened in the X books with Magneto dying. And someone has sent them a box with an actual letter from Magneto that Scarlet Witch does not tell her brother. And her brother, in Pietro fashion, flies off the handle and runs off.
Yeah, Steve Orlando really knows how to write Pietro well.
Yes, I agree.
Their sibling dynamics, fantastic. Usually I don't go in for stuff like this for angst for the sake of angst, but what they were saying and what they were referencing and how they were relating to each other, I thought rang true of what siblings would act like, especially because Quicksilver or Pietro has such that savior complex, such that I want to protect you so much that he would not understand that she was protecting him.
Right.
And she would just be like, I can't deal with you, It totally read well. And I really liked that interaction between the two of them. And then him speeding off at the end to kind of run, to kind of clear his head. And, I thought that's exactly what he would do.
And I love that so unlike the last book, Night Thrasher, I feel like Steve Orlando knows their history.
Yep.
He knows their background. He knew the old Brotherhood when, yes, Magneto treated Quicksilver like crap, you know? I loved M. I loved her little cameo in it because it harkens back to Uncanny Avengers when M and Quicksilver had their little fling.
Yep.
I thought this book, I'm glad we're ending on this book.
Yeah.
This is
a strong title.
This was a very strong #1 issue.
And the villain that they brought in, the Wizard, so happy to see him. See?
Yes.
Tons of villains you can use. You don't have to create a new one. And I love that the Wizard used tech that basically his helmet, he had a serum that was able to replicate Wanda's memories of using magic. So he could use magic as it was pumped into his head from the data that he received from her memories. And I thought that was so cool. That's such a Wizard thing to do. Although he doesn't have her focus, her abilities, and her knowledge, and experience in using it. So I thought that was really cool that he was doing that and in a new way. And it just worked really well. I thought Darcy's inclusion was fantastic, and their friendship, and the Scarlet Witch having a friend like Darcy,
a human friend, by the way. If you're not reading the book, Darcy is actually Kat Dennings' character from the Thor books.
Okay, so Daniel, no, they are no longer Mags's kids now. No.
But I have a feeling that by the end of this they might be.
Well, you never know.
I'm really hoping that they put this back into continuity. That's his children. I'm really hoping. But I want to say, how amazing was it when Scarlet Witch released the demon that is inside her?
Just a little bit.
Fight the Wizard. Like the art, I just want to give credit to this artist.
Yeah,
because
the art was great.
Lorenzo Tameta was, oh my God, the art in this. Scarlet Witch is powerful and feminine and sexual and hot and dark at the same time. Pietro is strong. There's backgrounds, the colorist, everyone I think was on their A game in this.
Yep, it's a very strong #1.
We get background, we get cameos from Speed in it as well.
His nephew.
I don't know who was in the bed though. That's the only thing I didn't know, who was in the bed.
Also, experience MCU's Darcy. No, sorry, this is Doctor Strange's Darcy. So Darcy was introduced in Doctor Strange a long time ago, and she worked with Doctor Strange at the Sanctum Sanctorum.
No, you're thinking of the wrong person.
But that's the same girl, and
nope.
That's a different girl.
Yeah,
I thought this was the same girl.
No.
Is this Darcy from MCU?
Yeah.
It is.
I think it's supposed to be.
I didn't think so. I thought that was the girl from Doctor Strange and Strange
Academy. No.
I'm wrong. I am sorry.
I don't think that this is the scientific Darcy from Scarlet Witches. It might be, but I don't think it is. I think they wanted to bring in Darcy as a character because she was also in, the Scarlet Witch series. And she is the human friend who is, and in this issue you learn. So the Scarlet Witch book's actually been really good. Steve Orlando's been writing the hell out of this book. And she had a problem. And that's how she came through the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy, the multiple girl. Different Darcy too.
It is. So
yes, but definitely pick it up. If you definitely pick it up.
I would agree.
It's a very, very strong book. But that is our time, everybody. But before we go, wanted to give you one last reminder that your boy Desmond took part in a comic book anthology, and I will be in San Francisco on Sunday, February 18th at 2:00. I'll be signing a book, comic book anthology that I was a part of. I wrote and drew a 6-page story, and We Belong. It is an African American It's by queer African American sci-fi and fantasy writers, and we all wrote queer sci-fi, fantasy, African American stories, and we put it into this anthology, and it'll be out for the public to purchase at this event that I'll be signing copies of. It is at the San Francisco Library. You can go there. I think it starts from 10 to about 6. I'll be there from 2 to 3 signing books. So please, please, please stop by. I would love to meet you if you're in the Bay Area. Also, when we're done, I will be in a later show. I will be showing you how you can purchase it if you like. There's a disco gnome, and the disco gnome tells us that it is time to go. Please stay tuned at 7:00 because we have Sketch Up with Mock and Mel after us. So please. Oh, thank you so much, Daniel Oswell. Hope it goes well for you. Thanks, fellow beardies, one and all. Yes. So
we also want.
He says fellow beardies. That means Daniel Ash has a beard.
Awesome. So we just want to let everyone know we will not be on the 22nd. We will be back on the 29th. Next week, there'll be no show. Des has some traveling plans, and I will also not be able to be here. But we will be back with another great show on the 29th. So, again, thank you for watching. Tell all your friends about us, and we will see you soon in 2 weeks.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Do you remember what it was like when you were a little kid and you got a letter in the mail? Now imagine that letter was filled with information about your favorite shows, pop culture questions, links to things you're going to want to see later, and even sneak peeks at upcoming programming here on The Experience. That's what the EXP mailing list is. Every week, we send you sneak peeks, information, and all of the relevant links for all of the shows you want to see. Sign up now on our website or scan the QR code that's on your screen right now.